Let me say, first of all, great to be back in Belfast. I've covered big fights. I've commentated on Klitschko fights, stadium fights. I've been to Vegas, Madison Square Garden, but nothing in my experience beats being ringside at the SSE Arena when there's a Frampton bill going on. And I can say that for Carl returning to Box Nation, and also new viewers are going to be joining us on BT Sport, they are in for a treat. And so is Jamie Moore, who's going to experience all of that for the first time. So Jamie, new trainers on the bench with me. Carl's with me as well, Jamie Conlan, and indeed Paddy Barnes. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to throw some out to the floor for you as well. And then we'll have one-on-ones for the TV and the press. So you'll get to ask all your juicier questions after on. But feel free to throw those at the boys as we finish. Right, first of all, Carl, all the pieces of the jigsaw are coming together now for you. New promoter, new trainer, you've got a date. How are you feeling about all of that?
Very, very excited. Obviously, first of all, it's great to be back in Belfast and to be fighting here. The last show never happened for whatever reason, but I'm just looking forward to kind of repaying the fans for showing the support in me. I've teamed up with MTK now, also Frank and BT Sport. So it's going to give me a huge platform, I think, to perform. And I know that we're going to bring big nights of boxing back to Belfast. And obviously you guys like Jamie and Paddy as well, who can share the limelight with me. They deserve it as well. So it's good for boxing. It's good for Belfast. And I'm very excited about it.
Tickets for that are going to be on sale, folks, next week for the public and for the fans. On Wednesday, you can get that on SSE Arena, Belfast.com. You'll be able to go down to the waterfront and get them in person at the box office. So they're going to be on sale on Wednesday, and November 18th is the date to circle in your diary. You've always talked, Carl, about a kind of vision of where you want to be, and back in Belfast on a big show is pretty much where you've always said you want to be. Do you have a shared vision with Frank Warren and BT Sport on that, and how do you see it developing over the next year?
Yeah, look, what I want to do, and I've made it public, that a dream of mine is to box at Windsor Park, and I would love it. Obviously, you need the right time of year to do that, and we'll need to wait to kind of end of spring, summertime next year. But I think that, well, I know that Frank and MTK can help me get that, and I think that it's going to be a huge night for myself. It's a dream of mine, you know. This is what I've dreamed of since I was a kid, the top of bill at Windsor, and when I finally get to do that, it's going to be the highlight of my career. But I want to be here as much as possible. I believe that there's not an atmosphere like it in boxing. Belfast atmosphere is always the best. I think BT are going to be excited by what they're going to see. Even, you know, look at the turnout here for a press conference. People don't get this for fights a lot of times. So Belfast is boxing is booming in Belfast, and I'm just looking forward to putting on a show. Yeah,
you'll be shocked. BT viewers are going to be shocked. I know when I first came over here for 3 fights with Box Nation, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it when we got ringside at that SSE Arena. It's going to be something special on November the 18th. How do you view opponent to be confirmed?
Yeah.
How do you view that as an assignment before the really big things happen next year?
Yeah, well, you know, we only got the deal done not that long ago, so obviously we're still looking at opponents. At the stage that I'm at now, it can't be a mug. It needs to be a credible opponent. But I'm looking at getting the big boys next year, and I just want to put the last year behind me. You know, it was a disastrous year for myself. I lost my first fight, and the last fight fell through, and everything else that's going on. It hasn't been a great year, so I want to put that behind me and get back to winning ways, and then we'll push on and hopefully get one of the big boys to fight after this one.
Anyone who's got any sort of promotional questions, you'll be able to deal with those with Frank Warren in due course rather than today or afterwards. Let's bring the other boys who are in the bill. Jamie, it probably feels like this has been a long time coming, but it's arrived. How are you feeling about the prospect of challenging for a world title?
Well, I'd known about it for a few weeks now. I'd never let myself get overly excited, as I've been let down in the past on previous occasions with big shows and big fights. But finally now, today, the press conference is here and everything is done and dusted, and I can let myself enjoy it. I'm just looking forward now to get back over to camp, get back work with Donny Vaughan and get into the nitty-gritty.
Jamie's going to be fighting a Filipino guy called Jerwin Acajas, who featured on the Manny Pacquiao-Jeff Horn undercard just a month or so ago, and he looked good on that occasion. How have you started looking at him as an opponent and the things that he brings?
I was actually at that fight in Brisbane. We trained. My brother was had the same time scale the whole fight week, so I got to see him up close and personal. The week of the fight, I got to see his emotions, his reactions, and we paid a close look because the lads at MTK, Daniel had told me just to be ready for the WBO or IBF, both that we were highly ranked with. So I really rate him. I know I have to be at my very, very, very best to beat this guy, and it's a fight I wholeheartedly, 100% believe I can win, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to put on a great performance for the Belfast fans.
That's one of two world title fights on the bill for you as well. Zolani Tete is going to be in town, folks. If you've not seen him box, you want to get a ticket. Besides these guys, he is dynamite. He's one of the most talented boxers I've ever seen up close. He defends his WBO title as well. Paddy Barnes with his WBO European flyweight title on the line as well. Paddy, first time you trio have boxed on a professional bill together. How exciting is that going to be?
Yeah, it's great.
I think that was your hair gel.
Must be, aye. No, it's great. I used to love going to watch over the car because the way he filled out the loyalty and all, it's a brilliant spectacle. It's a brilliant spectacle, and I'm just honoured to be able to fight on a double world title undercard with obviously Frampton on it too.
How have you adjusted, adapt, found life as a pro?
To be honest with you, it was probably a bit, not harder, a bit stranger than I expected. I still feel that I need to slow down. I'm working on it in the gym, but my last fight was a 10-rounder and I didn't perform the way I can. I think because I was more focused on doing the rounds than I was performing. But now I know what it's about, and I'm looking forward to showing my real skill in my next fight.
Paddy's in action up in Scotland in Edinburgh next week, and then he'll be involved defending his title on November the 18th. Let's bring in Jamie Moore, a new face for us, new team with Carl too. You'll have seen Carl as a boxing fan as well as a trainer from a distance, as well as up close ringside. What have been the things that have impressed you most, you've been taken by, surprised by, maybe now you're actually working with him closely in the gym?
I think I've always appreciated, like everybody else has, what a talented fighter Carl is. I think he's got some amazing attributes. It's just which comes so natural to him. And do you know, speaking with him over the last couple of weeks, I was trying to gauge what sort of stage he's at in his career, you know, in his mind, to see what sort of ambitions there. And it's like he's coming into his prime over the last couple of weeks. He's enjoying boxing again, and I've said for many years, a happy fighter always performs better. You always get the best out of him, and he's training with a smile on his face. It may not be over the next couple of weeks. That expression might change on the tougher days, but I believe you're going to see the best Carl Frampton because, as I say, he's enjoying his boxing once again, and that's the main thing.
You've been involved in big fights yourself. You've been ringside at some big gigs. Have you got any sense of how special these occasions are in Belfast?
I had a little snippet of it. I was ringside for Scott Quigg against Carl, and I did a video and put it on social media saying, you may as well be in Belfast. The atmosphere was amazing that night, and literally the whole arena, it sounded like was behind Carl, and we was in Scott Quigg's hometown. So that tells you a story about the fans from Belfast who travelled across. It was a fantastic atmosphere, great performance by Carl, and I'm looking forward to seeing what it's really like. I boxed at the King's Hall myself twice, so I know what the Belfast fans are like, but apparently it's going to take it to another level. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Tickets on sale Wednesday, folks, down at the box office or on SSE Arena, Belfast.com. Carl, where are you now emotionally in terms of your gym work building up to November 18th?
I'm feeling good. I think that my weight's good this far out, which isn't usually that good. Obviously, it needed to be good after missing the weight the last fight, so I've been paying close attention to that. I had a spar yesterday, first spar, just to kind of get my eye in. Only 4 rounds, just to test the water, and I was trying things out that we've been working on already in the gym, and I feel like the spar went pretty well. I think Jamie was happy with it too, so I'm in a good position at the minute. We've less than 8 weeks now till the fight, but I'll be ready on fight night for whoever it is.
How do you feel about having Jamie and Paddy on the bill as well?
It's great. Obviously, Paddy's one of my best mates, and me and Jamie are good friends too. Jamie Conlan has been involved in probably 3 or 4 of the most exciting fights I've ever seen. He's a tremendous fighter, just all action style, and never makes a fight easy for himself. He'll probably admit that himself. Goes to war every single time, so I think he's one of the most exciting fighters in the country. And to be sharing a bill alongside him fighting for a world title, it's great. And obviously Paddy defending his WBO European Championship of the world. He's Paddy. You know, Paddy's at the start of his career. Everyone knows about Paddy. He's a character. He'll have great fun in the build up to the fight. But Paddy, in my eyes, isn't too far away from boxing for major titles, and I know that he at one day he can be a world champion as well as Jimmy.
Paddy, how long do you think it is before Carl's going to be appearing on your undercards?
I think by the time I get to that stage, he'll be retired, so probably never.
And Jamie, to be involved in a big bill back in Belfast, but to be fighting for a world title, put that into words for us.
Always used to love fighting on cards, undercards in Belfast before. It's very hard to describe the atmosphere. I remember being in one of the early Odyssey fights and just starting going, this is unreal, and it got bigger and bigger. So to be part of it in a meaningful fight and an exciting fight is going to be something an emotion that I'm going to have to kind of control on fight week and on the night. It's something I'm looking forward to.
Okay, we're going to throw open questions to the press. Before I do, I'm just going to ask you for one line from everyone, for the fans. Carl, you start. A line for the fans, building up to the fight.
Put me on the spot here. A line? I don't know. Don't we tell a joke? No, just I'm excited. I'm excited to get back in Belfast. I keep harping on about it, but I love this place. My favourite city in the world. I feel like I'm constantly promoting it wherever I go and talking to people about how good it is now. And hopefully with the help of everyone involved, MTK and BT and Frank, we can show the world what Belfast is all about.
Jamie, what can we expect from him on the night and then next year?
Honestly, I think the best is yet to come. I don't think we've seen the best Carl Frampton, and I think he's going to put in an explosive performance, and I think moving forward he's going to be involved in some terrific fights.
Jamie, on the night?
On the night, it's just a night not to be missed. I think Carl will go out and make a big statement with Jamie and his new trainer, and Belfast will have a new world champion.
And Paddy?
They're very much tonight, so I will say I'm looking tickets, so get them off me.
Tickets will be available, folks, on Wednesday. The SSE Arena, Belfast.com, and of course at the box office. There's a phone line behind me as well, and there will be opportunities to get them elsewhere, which will be released in the next few days. Right, let's hand out some questions. I think Dan's got the microphone. Dan, my man, so the press want to put their hands up and we'll guide him round to get your questions. Wow, here we go.
Just to Jamie Conlan. Jamie, there was a time when, you know, I don't think you thought it was going to happen for you, really, you know, because fights were being cancelled regularly on you, and you came close to hanging up the gloves, isn't that right? So obviously to have this fight confirmed is brilliant for you.
Well, that's why I never got really overly excited when I found out that this fight was happening, as I've been let down in the past. But now that I'm actually sitting at the table and ready to go in the main kind of bulk of the camp and to get the nitty gritty into and get my teeth into it, I've never been as excited. You know, it's a big stage, it's a big atmosphere. We're on BT Sport, we're a bigger audience than I've ever fought in front of. So it's something I've always dreamed about, and finally it's coming true.
Your brother's going to be on the December 9th bill, isn't he, in Madison Square Garden? Is he going to be able to come back?
Yeah, he's actually coming on Saturday to come and start a camp with me and Paddy. He's going to go and watch Paddy's fight in Edinburgh, and then he'll be back over for the fight. Our other brother is getting married, so it's all working out handy enough for him.
Perfect. Any more questions? Put your hands up.
Carl, I suppose all changed in your regime at the moment, but just how happy are you to have everything sort of nailed down now and you have a date and something to aim for?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm very happy, and I can finally start talking about things and telling people that my plans for the future. So it's an exciting stage for me now, because you know I'm 30 years old, but last 2 years I was constantly talking about the day I can retire, but now I'm excited. I'm enjoying boxing again, and I've been telling the missus probably an hour 32 and I'm out, but I could see me maybe hitting 35 now the way things are going. But she's away the toilet. I said that when she's not here, but don't tell her. So look, I'm enjoying it. I believe I've got another world title in me at this weight. I believe that we were looking at guys before in the super featherweight division, Jezreel Corrales as well, WBA champion. I just moved up to featherweight, so I was thinking maybe it's a step too far yet, and let develop more as a featherweight. But going on his last performance, I think that if we fought him, then I would beat him and become a 3-weight world champion, which is a proper ambition of mine as well.
Are there names already being mentioned, and is next year, whether it's spring or summer, outdoor stadium fight looking quite likely?
Yeah, I think that Windsor's going to happen. That's I got a guarantee from Frank, and that's what I went with all the people I was talking about, that I want to fight at Windsor Park, and so Frank has guaranteed me Windsor. Obviously, it needs to be a big name. So there's loads of names. Santa Cruz. That's the fight that I desperately want, because I feel like I have a score to settle. You've got Selby, Gary Russell, Oscar Valdez as well, who's been talked about recently. Josh Warrington as well, who's with BT, which is a big fight in itself. So a lot of potentially huge fights for me. But we'll get them boys to fight after next.
Warrington fights in an IBF eliminator, I should say, on the 21st of October. So potentially if he beats Dennis Salem, will be one step closer to getting that belt. And who knows, further down the line, and that's maybe a big fight. Any more questions, folks? Microphone's there. Put your hand up if you want to ask. Don't be shy. Steve Lillis, Box Nation.
I don't know. Look, I've had good exposure, and that's it really. And I think that obviously the TV station, local TV, have got behind me. BBC Northern Ireland, UTV, and people are seeing me a lot in the papers as well. So I don't know really. I've done quite well in the fights, and I've been performing. But Belfast loves its boxers, and we've a history of producing good wee men. The smaller fighters like myself. You look at the top table here, three wee men, and I think that I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, but they support their own. As long as you're not a clown, they'll get behind you.
Little big men, I think we'll say. Little big men. Listen, Belfast, they get behind the sports. There's no doubt about it, and they get behind They're sports people. Any more questions? Hands up. Don't be shy. We're not in the classroom. No? Okay. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much to everyone for turning out today. This is just the start of Carl Frampton on BT Sport and a continuation back on Box Nation. And it could just be the start of an amazing adventure alongside Jamie Conlan and indeed Paddy Barnes as well. Tickets are going to be available on Wednesday. Get those from SSEArena.com as well as at the box office. There'll be other outlets and we'll have news on that and more releases courtesy of Frank Wallen and the team. Thanks very much to Jamie Moore, to Carl Frampton, to Paddy Barnes and Jamie Conlan, and you will be seeing them again very soon. Thank you.